Okay, I hope I'm audible to all students who are attending this lecture of public economics. We continue with our lectures on theories of the public sector. Okay, and the book I prefer to follow for my lectures on theories of the public sector, this is Hendricks and Miles. Now, all students can recall that in the last lecture of theories of the public sector, we were doing the model of corruption. Okay, and we had also done the government agency model in the previous lecture. If all students can recall, it was one of the most important and interesting models we had done in the previous lecture, where we had learned another reason for the excessive size of the government. Okay, now in this particular lecture, we intend to look at the last model within our lectures on theories of the public sector. This is the last model, the cost diffusion model. Okay, so this gives us another explanation for having the excessive size of the government. So the last explanation for the possibility of excessively large government is the common resource problem. Now let's understand this. The idea is that when we talk about the spending authorities are dispersed or scattered. When you talk about the public sector, you have different spending authorities. I can say that within the public sector or within the government, you have a whole lot of departments. You have railways, you have health and infrastructure, you have education. Okay, so there are different spending authorities. While the treasury, there is only one treasury who has the responsibility of collecting enough revenue to balance the overall budget. Okay, so the center is going to collect the revenue, and this revenue will be then dispersed to various departments. Now you have many spending authorities, but you have only one treasury who is responsible for collecting the revenue. That is the whole problem of the government sector. So clearly you can see each of the spending authorities has its own spending priorities with little consideration for others' priorities. So every spending authority is not going to care much about the other spending authority. That is why in the previous models, all students can recall when we had done the model where we had talked about the cabinet meeting. In the cabinet meeting, every spending authority or department is going to inflate its bid for funding, because every department is not going to care much about the other department. All what the department cares about is to receive more funds for expenditure. Okay, so each of the spending authorities has its own spending priorities with little consideration for the other priorities. That can be better met by raiding the overall budget. So it's like saying that the government has only one piggy bank, but there are a whole lot of departments who are willing to draw money from that piggy bank. And every department cares about drawing more money from the piggy bank and cares less about the other department. The health and education department cares less about the railways. The infrastructural department does not care much about railways and health and education. So basically every department within the government, when deciding how much to claim from the center for the budget, cares less about the other department's needs. But there is only one piggy bank, or there is only one treasury the government has from which the funds are allocated to various departments. So this is the common resource problem. The piggy bank of the government is a common resource from which all the allocations of funds have to be done to different departments. But you have a whole lot of departments within the government who are ready to raid the piggy bank of the government. The piggy bank here is nothing but the treasury of the government, who is responsible for collecting all the taxes and then dispersing them to various departments for expenditures in a given fiscal year. So a single committee with the expenditure authority would have a much better sense of the opportunity cost of public funds and could better compare the merits of alternative proposals and the actual dispersed spending authorities. What is the last line telling us? The last line is telling us that this common resource problem would have never come if there was a single committee who was responsible for making the expenditures. Just like there is one piggy bank of the government called the treasury of the government responsible for collecting tax revenues, there should have been only one authority responsible for all the expenditures. If there is only one authority responsible for all the expenditures, they know how much funds to ask from the center for proper allocation to all the areas. On the other hand, if we have various departments like we do within the government sector or within the public sector, every department is only going to be selfish, caring about its own requirement as compared to the requirement of other departments. So this common resource problem would have never come if we had only a single committee who would be responsible for making expenditures. Okay, so if I look at the conclusion, many public services are characterized by the concentration of the benefits to a small group of users or recipients. Okay, so if you look at public services, they at a particular point of time, they benefit only a small group. But to finance those public services, the diffusion of costs happen to a large group of taxpayers. That means it's like saying, suppose the government builds up a public park. Suppose the government makes a public park. Now, a whole lot of people must have paid taxes to the government for making a public park. But the benefits of that public park are taken care of only by people residing near that public park. That means when we talk about public services, one of the most important characteristics of public services is that the public services are financed by diffusing costs to a large group of taxpayers, but the benefits of public services are enjoyed only by a small group. So this results in the bias towards continuous demand for more public spending. The taxpayers are going to demand more expenditure from the public because a lot of taxpayers are paying their hard-earned money just for a public good which benefits only a certain section. If a public park is constructed somewhere, only the people of that particular area are going to enjoy the benefits of the public park. But to finance that public park, a whole lot of taxpayers would have spent their hard-earned money paying taxes to the government. So if you go by this ideology, every taxpayer is going to demand more public spending, thus representing excessive role of the government or excessive size of the government. Okay, so this is where I intend to stop in this particular lecture. It was a very small lecture where the objective was to discuss with all students the last model, and with this our lectures on theories of the public sector are over. Okay, so we have done a whole lot of models within the public sector, and each of these models in its own way explains the excessive size of the public sector in the economy. Okay, so this is where I stop. In the next lecture of public economics, we are going to start with a new topic within our lectures on public economics. So I hope all students have enjoyed this lecture. Any doubt, you can unmute your mics and ask, or call up or mail me your doubts at divineschoolofeconomics@gmail.com. So this is where I stop in this lecture.